So like always, we like to. Oh my god, I just got tongue tied. Holy crap! Like always, we're always a day late because we both work and we cannot make videos the day of or the morning of, more or less. So yesterday, as I think everyone has seen, if you have not yet, Bandai has dropped some of the quote unquote. I don't want to say leaks because it's not really a leak because they obviously put it on their site, but they showed us some of this up to the battle evolution boosters. I can't speak. Fluff, take it away for a bit, please, because you're joining me today. Yes, it is
Yes.
Fluff.
Yes. So Bandai released basically a strategy note patch for the Battle Evolution booster that we get in March. Is that right? I think it's March. Should be late March. Included are a bunch of reprints this set, and a bunch of them that are really wanted. Like, I think we're finally getting I think it was Starter Deck 7, the Brawly Paragus Super Combo. We're getting a bunch of draft box reprints. Yep. So we're getting Ribrianne reprinted. We're getting Basil. We're getting Exploiting Weakness Vegeta. Like, these are all fantastic reprints, but on top of the reprints, we're also getting archetypes to existing and new archetypes.
So as we go over this, we're going to give our take and, our reactions and kind of like our excitement for them, because some of this stuff I'm actually super pumped for. But like always, hit those buttons because, we appreciate you hitting buttons. And by buttons, I mean like the like. And if you care, subscribe, please. All right, cool. I'm done begging. All right.
Yes.
So like
we don't want your charity.
So we're going to try to keep this pretty short because I don't want to really be too super long. Like I said, probably most of you have already heard about it. If you have not, I mean, it's pretty cool stuff. So like Fluff had mentioned, there are reprints coming. So of those reprints, just kind of go over real quick. The more time passes, the harder it becomes to find cards from previous set to help. I can't speak. Alleviate. Holy crap.
Yeah. To help alleviate this, the Battle Evolution booster includes reprints of cards that fans have been asking for. The 4 SRs below are included, but that's not all.
So what are we getting here? Like Fluff said, Vegeta Exploiting Weakness, Abuni, Ribrianne, Basil, another Senzu Bean, another Defending Father Paragus, and Universe 9 Assemble, which I know Fluff is super pumped to get alternate art for that one.
Yes. So I plan on trying to get my winner pack playset of those. But I'm hoping that this will have an alternate art. I'm assuming not, since they didn't give us alternate arts for Senzu Bean, Defending Father Paragus, and Unite Assemble. But still, I mean, if you're new to the game, Senzu Beans can be hard to find. Defending Father Paragus is the reason that the Brawly starter deck was so expensive. This card has never been re-released. Was the OG great super combo for green, and is still a solid option no matter what you do. Unite Assemble, I don't know why they chose to reprint it here. I mean, it just got a reprint, but I'll take it.
Yeah. And with that being said, also, you got the Abunis, which are, I think, super hard to come across for the longest time. You got the Ribrianne. I don't think Ribrianne... Actually, no. Those are all draft box 2, weren't they? Yeah, those three were draft box 2. Exploiting Weakness was draft box 1, which... or more or less draft box 4. But
this is the first... Yeah. This is the first reprint for Exploiting Weakness, which is well needed, I think. I mean, this card is a staple for green decks. I don't think it's seeing as much love in red Brawly, but any other red deck, Gogeta, Bulma, Launch, will utilize this card to great effect. And it's just awesome to see it. And really, they're devaluing draft box with these reprints. So at this point, once we get this, and once the Zamas from draft box 1 gets reprinted, I think there are no more super valuable chase cards out of draft box 1 and draft box 2, which, as far as I'm concerned, is amazing. It's more casual.
Yeah, it helps out a lot, especially like you said earlier, if you're new to the game. But let's get past the reprints and kind of go into some of the newer stuff. So they dropped Nappa as a leader with the whole engine of using Cybermen, which is super exciting. And for once, I actually want to make a Cybermen deck.
Is this the first Nappa leader? Did we get a Nappa leader in set 10? Set 11? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I might be wrong, but I don't think so.
I know we got the small Nappa engine that had the Cybermen with it, but I don't think it was a deck all its own. I'll be honest, I don't personally love the leader. I think the leader is gimmicky. Depends on what Cybermen cards we get. If we get a really good, like, one-drop red Cybermen card, this deck could be awesome.
No,
It just really depends on what comes with it.
I think it's just utilizing the one-drop Cybermen.
The green ones that you can include multiple of.
Yeah, I think it's what it's including.
They are essentially blocker revenge.
Yeah. That
could be nice. More importantly, this rare, the Nappa Break Cannon Unleash, the 4-drop, this card is awesome. I really love this card. Deflect, double strike, dual attack, 20,000. If you have 6 or more cards, battle cards, energy cost of 1 that add up to 6 or something like that in your battle area or drop area, he becomes a 30,000, and you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it once per turn when you attack.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome.
He's going to be cool. I mean, it's not... Do we have better cards? Of course. This guy's not a rival. It's going to be 4 energy to put on the field unless something in the deck pumps him out fast. But I think that, like, the old, like, King Vegeta Raditz, Nappa, Vegeta engine may spit this guy out fairly fast.
And truth be told, it may not be a bad idea to obviously throw in a whole set of the 2-drop Piccolo with Assimilate, because the deck already naturally thins itself out. Yeah. And it's going to be a red-green deck, obviously, because the Awakened side, has that whole Vegeta and Nappa card search. So those are there for that purpose. But, I mean, throwing a 2-drop that you already on turn 1, your first swing drops a 1-drop. So on turn 2, you're dropping at least 2 1-drops on the board that when you swing up that Piccolo, you could tap them down, making it 40,000. Or it's 39,000, I think. Yeah.
Well, and it self-awakens, too. So the leader's going to self-awaken. And I've been saying for a long time that I felt like that red-green Vegeta Raditz King Piccolo engine really just needed good win conditions. And this may fit that model, especially when you include that 2-drop Piccolo that you were talking about from Draft Box 6.
All right, so next we're going back to one of my classics. Granted, it's not going to have one of my favorite cards in it, but a Android 16 leader, which utilizes a blue-green engine, which is really awesome because we haven't had a 16 leader before. And what I like about him is that he immediately, his effect, will negate the energy exhaust for all Android 16 cards and with a rival blue-green. So that's pretty awesome.
Well, any Android card with... Oh, it is any Android card with... Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't see the...
selecting. I'm not selecting it. In the video, they'll have a full picture plopped up on it instead.
And not only this, like, it's going to be one of those, it can set up the graveyard, which is nice for these types of decks to draw 2. So this deck is going to move through, and the quality of its hand is going to be incredibly nice. This leader is just going to be incredibly versatile. And, like, just kind of seeing the Android 16 cards that are coming makes this fantastic.
Yeah. And I know he's not going to utilize a lot of the other 16 stuff because those required, I think, what was it?
They were a lot on, like, when you're...
Energy to drop area.
Yeah. So, you could splash in Zeno with this.
True.
As a way to kind of trigger those. And depending on the stuff that we get to see, because we don't get to see the higher end stuff for this. We're just kind of seeing the common, uncommon, and maybe a rare slot here. So they're really cool. And I mean, blocker revenge dual attack. So you get a swing. You can make your opponent discard, or you can place a blue Android card with an energy cost of 1 from your deck into your drop area, then shuffle your deck, which is a quick way to get stuff like Android 17 quick sweeper, or the deck will they'll probably honestly give us something that's going to be really beneficial here.
Yeah. And also, so the 7-drop utilizes the 21. So when this card is played, for example, the 7-drop, add up to 1 Android 21 card of energy cost of 5 or less from your deck to your hand, and shuffle your deck, then choose up to 1 Android 21 card with an energy cost of 5 or less in your hand and play it. When this card attacks, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand, discards, so it has also hand control element to it.
And the backside of the leader is doing something really interesting where we get to activate the arrival skill of cards that are charged in your energy.
Yes, which is really cool.
it's a good counter to hand control strategies, which I know we've talked a lot about. But even like if your opponent's not prepared for it and they think that maybe they've got you beat because maybe they've used a Brawly Crown of Retribution and looked at your hand and saw you didn't have anything, but you've got one of those guys charged into your energy and you're able to just arrival out of your energy. I mean, think about charging the secret rare Vegeta.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then being able to arrival that guy out. I mean, it's fantastic.
And what I like about this particular engine, you've already said it, with the 6-drop, where your opponent chooses plays up to 1 blue. Oh, blue. You mentioned Android 17, which is a green card, if I'm correct.
Is he?
Yeah.
Quick Sweep is a green card. So I guarantee there's something coming, because off the top of my head, I can't think of a blue Android energy cost of 1, except for the Android 18. Does she get something when she's sent to the drop area?
It's only when you play her.
Right. So, like, I think there's something coming that is going to supplement this.
Yeah. But you could run, like, it's obviously a blue-green deck, so you could run the 17s in here, and that way you're able. Granted, I think he only plays if you have no battle cards, if I'm correct, right?
I think so as well.
So you could potentially have a drop to play with, if an energy area to play with, and then your own hand to play with this deck. Potentially.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what they come out with. When I saw this, like, I wasn't a big fan of the Android 21 deck before, but once I saw, like, Android 16 was, like, one of my ride or dies. I loved him in the anime. One of my favorites to, like, draw, and just his whole aesthetic, as Jimmy would call it, his drip. I loved. And I love that we finally have an Android 16 leader with an engine that looks fun to play with.
Yeah. And also keep in mind, the 7-drop will either play Bad Omen from your hand. Now, granted, you want to play Bad Omen, I think, from your energy to get her actual effect. No, it's
when
just
you play this
card. Yeah, choose one card, place the drop here when you play this card. So you can play her for free, and then throw away an energy for her effect. Or you can play the 4-drop blocker for free, which allows you to search top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card among them, place in your energy, shuffle your deck, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, KO it. Granted, that one also restricts your playability with higher powered cards, but like you said, just play the Vegeta Secret Rare, which is a good one back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 4 triple strike, or it can do other things, but it does feel like the intention is resolving a Bad Omen.
Yeah.
And, this doesn't ramp like the old deck kind of used to do, utilizing the old Super Android 21 or Super Android 17. But maybe you don't have to ramp in this. I mean, blue-green is a really defensive strategy as is.
Yeah. And I think, I can't remember, but I think Android 17, the Super 17 required a 21 leader, right?
I believe it did, yeah.
Yeah. And I know we're getting also the Android 13 Unison, which I think also requires a 21 leader. So
I believe, yes.
Which is
we've already, and they're giving a lot of flexibility to this archetype when you look at everything that's coming. So I'm really excited to see the possibilities that could come, because I've always felt like this archetype was right there, and you had a lot of luck with this. Back when you were playing it, you had a lot of success with this, even winning locals a few times. So this is just the tip of the iceberg for this archetype, and I can't wait to see more.
Exactly. All right, so next we got what everyone's been on the internet, at least in our Discord group and our text group, talking about the new Bulma leader, which introduces the new heroine. Did I say that right? Did I actually say the wrong? Did I say that right?
No,
okay.
That's right. Heroine.
My brain was like, I just said heroine. Heroine.
Yeah, no.
Tongue-tied. But Black leader, which gives all Pan, Bolas, Bulmas, Chi-Chis, Vidalas, Mai's future Android 18 battle cards in all your areas, heroine. Oh my god, I cannot say that correctly.
Heroine. It is heroine. I mean, but like it's an
right,
homage to like the old Western damsels, if you will. I mean, she's a heroine. It's a good thing. It's not a negative in this context.
So, and they also have in those particular cards, unfortunately. So it's not just all heroines. It's just those ones. If I'm reading this correctly, have no Pacific energy cost. So you couldn't play the launches without a Pacific cost. They have a Pacific cost to them because they're not listed here.
Yeah. So launch will not be included in this But the launch card that they've released for us, I believe, is activated not with a non-specific energy.
Correct, she is. Yes.
Though I will say, if I heard this very vaguely in a deck profile the other day, but if you're spending energy for your blockers, especially like your 5,000 non-barrier, non-deflect blockers, you're doing it wrong. I don't like this card. I don't think it's great.
Yeah. I mean,
I think this
is told I would rather use the Videl blocker.
Absolutely.
That's because it's a negate blocker.
Yeah, and I mean this is probably the worst card that we've seen so far. It does definitely fit the archetype. Yeah. It is a heroine, so it is going to have other support.
Wait,
but
she doesn't have blocker. Why do I think she has blocker all of a sudden? I just realized that.
You are thinking
the red Bulma leader gave the blocker.
Gave her blocker. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Still.
But you know the negate Videl out of World Martial Arts Tournament, not a blocker, but is negate that'll boost your leader.
Yeah.
When you play her, you know, that launch, you get to play defensively to boost your leader. Like I would never play her on my turn, but correct. You could absolutely like combo with her, pay one, play her, just boosts your leader up and makes it a little harder. And then on the backside, like it makes her 15. So this makes this better than Hercule in a lot of ways because it gets the boost. It gets as many draws as Hercule, I believe, because it's once per turn. Well, yeah. I guess Hercule was once per battle.
Once per battle with the leader. Here's the thing about her, though. I like, once awakened, your opponent swings at you. You combo with the launch and combo with something else, obviously. You paid 1 energy to play the launch. Bulma's auto proc. She's now a 15k leader, but launch is now a 10k. Your opponent swings, you block with launch. You activate battle to give launch another 5,000 boost. Now she's a 15k, so if you wanted to protect her, it wouldn't take as much cards. Because most time, like, you just block, your opponent's like, cool, I'll just leave it at 15 or whatever, you know. Maybe it's a 20, it's fine, but they could just be like, yeah, I'll just leave it at 15, sure. And you're like, cool, activate battle, give her 5,000 power, and then I'll combo 1 card to keep her alive. That way you have another blocker for your opponent's next turn.
And I mean, a lot of these cards, and this is going to sound incredibly masochistic or sexist in a lot of ways, but I'm not super familiar with a lot of the quote-unquote heroine cards that have been throughout the game. But I know there are incredibly relevant Pan, Bulma, Chi-Chi, and My cards and Android 18 cards out there. So when you look at stuff like Shades of Super Shenron and you go back and look at Explore Bulma, what if this deck has a way to put Explore Bulma onto the field for cheap? We don't know exactly what's coming with this archetype, but I guarantee there's going to be a way to spit these cards out. And they're going to be cards that are going to have impact.
I don't know if Explore Bulma works because I think Explore Bulma is Bulma Youth. I think. I'll pull the card up in the video to verify. So, okay, there's our answer. Cool. All right. Outside that, they also dropped a new Rosie card, which has Deflect. Yes. And so our texture, they seem like they were kind of freaking out by this card. Truth be told, I don't mind this card because think about this. If you turn 3 and your opponent's nothing to play but the Ruby and the drop, okay, that's 2 cards from hand. Great. But, or they could pay 3 cards, tap out, play this card. It's 2 cards and it has triple attack. It's a 15k beater for starters.
Yeah.
So against certain decks, like a blue deck, okay, cool. I'll just boost my leader by 5,000 using Sensu Bean. Now you got a combo if you want to continue those attacks. Or if it's a red deck, you After Image, you neg it by 10. It's a 5k beater from here on out. The attacks are useless. If it's green, you're probably just going to Dormant Potential, and it only gets 2 to attack. They can only attack 1 more time, so it's useless. If it's yellow, you could just Nimbus, or you can Final Flash it.
Well, and really, if you think about it, I think the thing that balances this card versus, say, another type of card, and kind of defending the why people might be afraid of this card, but also kind of alleviating that, turn 3 is a lot to spend for green.
Yeah, no, so especially 3 energy.
Depending on the deck, they may want to board their Unison on turn 3, or they may want to attempt to resolve another piece of their strategy. And yes, paying 3 energy to rip 2 cards out of your opponent's hand for 3 15,000 attacks is incredibly nice. But kind of look at what's available to deal with this card, blue has ways of dealing with this card. Green has ways of dealing with this card. Yellow can just tap the card down. Yellow has ways to bypass deflect. Yellow has ways to turn its skill off. Red has ways to just neg it out and kill it. If it got a battle boost and went up to like 25,000 triple attack, then I think the card would be a little much. Or even if it got 5,000, that might be a little much. But each color has a way specifically to deal with this card.
Yeah. Now,
and it is a large energy investment. I mean, when you look at, like, you could either play this or you could play the Secret Rare Boo. Or you could play this, or you could Ribrianne EDK, or you could activate Dormant Restraint and play a 6-drop Brawly.
Now, I would like... Yeah. So, Rosie takes 3 green energy, and just for clarification, like, if I'm wrong, please someone put it in the comments, but the way I'm reading Bulma's permanent is all Pan, Boa, Bulma, Chi-Chi, Videl, My Future, and Android 18 cards in all of your areas gain heroine and are treated as if they had no specific cost. It's just those cards that have no specific cost. So, yes, if you're playing a green version of the Bulma leader, then this card could get plus 5,000, but you would have to have 3 green energy to do that.
Yeah, and it seems like there might be an argument, and I guess we're just going to have to wait to see, but the intent of the Bulma leader looks like it might have been to give all heroines no specified cost, but I think that'll get clarified with an errata.
Yeah. At least that's the way I'm reading it. Let's put it that way.
But we have had problems before where there's been translation errors. So the intent may be for that leader to give all heroines no specified cost.
All right. So going on down to the last set of cards, kind of a little mix here. So we got one card that's kind of meant for Vegeta's Lineage, which is completely new. It's a red one, so instead of actually it might be red-green because the King Vegeta is a red-green card. It's a 2-drop.
It is a Vegeta's Lineage card.
So I'm curious if the Lineage chain for Vegeta Lineage is going to go into green as well.
It looks like if your leader's a red sand card and you have 3 or more energy, you can swap for a Vegeta's Lineage with an energy cost of 3.
Yes.
It's really late for a swap engine to wait till 3 energy, because usually swap you want to start on turn 1 or turn 2 and kind of go through it. So it remains to be seen what is the top end for this. But I do think it's really interesting that, like, we've had Goku's Lineage for a while. Now let's show what Vegeta's Lineage is all about.
Here's something to think about too, though. Arrival red-green.
Yeah.
There's no costs beside that.
There's no energy cost. It does have unique, so you can't spam the field with this guy.
But turn 3, or even during your opponent's turn, you could combo with a Nappa super combo. Play this card for free. When this card is played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards. It gets minus 5,000 power for the turn. So right there, it hurts a battle card that they haven't swung with potentially, or it could stop you from taking damage from a battle card that's swinging at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then on your turn, you pay the 1 energy. Well, obviously, if you can, it's 10k. Maybe you don't want to swing it, but you pay the right energy and go to whatever is next. We don't know what that's going to be yet because they haven't shown us that.
One of the things that kind of throws me off of this card is it's a 2-drop 10,000, which is very below the curve.
Yeah.
You know, usually when you're paying 2 energy for something, you're expecting 15,000. You know, the standard for 2-drop vanillas is 20, but the standard for effects are 10,000 or 15,000. So this is just slightly below average, and then it doesn't have any type of protection. So a dormant potential or a shocking death ball rips this guy off the field. So there's definitely got to be proper sequencing when trying to get this dude on board and then swapping up it.
And I think being below the curve as you place it, it's actually balanced out the fact that it can be played for free.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
And it hurts opponent's battle card. And then, like I said, you play this during your opponent's turn. And then immediately on your turn, you swap it to that Vegeta. Hopefully that Vegeta has something cool that protects it. But I mean...
And I love the theme of, like, comboing with the Nappa and then playing this guy out. Then it plays out the Nappa. Yeah. Then you swap into, like, a kid Vegeta. And it kind of is telling the story of the Vegeta lineage. You know, it seems like it's going to make sense versus the Goku's lineage that kind of didn't make sense at times because it would oddly go from like Grandpa to Goten. Like, but this seems really interesting and well thought out.
This card may go well with the new Nappa leader too. I'm just realizing that
It
whole
very well
theme.
may.
I'm super excited for that.
Here we've got more Bardock crew support, so a 1-drop Tora. So keep in mind that these are going to work in tandem with the Bardock's crew cards that we got out of Draft Box 6. I think that desperately Bardock's crew needs a good leader. I don't think the leader that came out of the Clash of Fates, I don't think that's a viable leader for this archetype. It just doesn't do enough in today's meta. Didn't really do enough when it came out.
But what I like is that turn 2, its effects proc. So turn 1, you play it.
Yeah.
Pass turn to your opponent. Your opponent typically won't have anything to hit with it. You don't block with it because you need a blue energy to use its effect. Then you go into your turn 2. Also, it depends on who you're playing against. Like, if you're playing against a deck that may hurt it if you swing, don't play until the end of your turn, obviously, like on your turn 2. That way, on your opponent's turn 2, when they swing it, you block, pay the other blue energy for the auto, play the Bardock, energy cost 4 or 5, and put it in the rest mode, you know?
Which is really awesome. That gets... there's a bunch of Bardock targets for this. So there's the Theme Booster 2 Bardock that can be played off of this. So the Clash of Fates Bardock, the Draft Box 6 Bardock, they could do it. And it does specify blue, which I like. So it seems like maybe there was a little bit of ambiguity as to whether this was going to be a blue-yellow archetype, and maybe this is pushing it back towards being a mono-blue archetype. Yeah. I love this Tora. I think it's really thematic. It's really effective. 1 energy for a blocker, but also can really just push you way ahead in the game. But the whole intent is to not play this turn 1. You'd want to play this on like turn 2, use it to stop your opponent from dealing damage. If your opponent chooses not to attack to keep you from getting this effect, you're advancing your game state.
Yep.
So, you know, this could really be punished. And if your opponent chooses to get rid of this card for any reason, you get to play a Bardock. Now, the Bardock has to be in your hand, and the Bardock is played in rest mode, so your opponent has an opportunity to deal with it. I really like the balance presented in this.
And then going into more Universe 9 stuff, which, if correct, this works great for the U9 symbol, because it's a 2-drop, unless that specifies yellow.
It does not. It's just a 2-drop or less Universe 9 card. So this fits perfect. I love that this card, you know, Jimmy and I have always referred to the idea of if you can make your opponent make a decision, that decision gives you information and lets you win the game. So activating this card's blocker skill, your opponent chooses one of their cards and switches it to rest mode, or you get to draw a card. So if they let you draw a card, they didn't really have a great play, or they were near finishing what they were doing, or the tap doesn't affect them, so you need to be aware of what's coming in the next turn. If your opponent lets you, if they rest mode a card, well, I guess strike that, reverse it. If your opponent rests a card, they know they're safe to continue on doing what they're doing. If they let you draw a card, it's because they don't want what they're trying to do get disrupted, which gives you more of a motivation to disrupt the following thing they do. This card is a very informative card, very much like it reminds me of Offering in a way. Granted, it's not as good as Offering, but it gives you information, which is vital.
So that is the kind of cards they release when it comes to the new Battle Evolution booster. Now, granted, they did release the green stuff. We don't want to go over it in this video because sometimes that takes a little too long. The one thing I want to point out real quick, I do feel like this is going to be very familiar to a Draft Box 4 situation, though, only because the description they put. This set includes 68 new cards, 57 reprints, and alternative holographic versions of commons, uncommons, and rare cards for a grand total of 233 card types. Now, that was my big fuss of Draft Box 4, and that's why we originally didn't go invest too much into it originally, and it was probably one of our mistakes, was because half the cards we already have, and like when we opened the packs, we were just so disappointed.
Well, and you got to think, Draft Box 4 was a massive set. I mean, Draft Box 4 reprinted select cards from sets 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 was, you know, so it was just a massive pool of cards that didn't seem to make sense. They weren't highly sought after cards. Like, no one wanted half of those cards to be reprinted. The difference is these reprints are valuable, whether you're new or been playing the game. Maybe you don't have your full set of these. Maybe you want another full set of these to complete decks you have sitting around. Maybe you have a friend who wants to play a deck that you're playing, but oh crap, I've only got 4 red. Like, you're going to have to go spend $180 to play green if you want.
Now, I will say that this deck definitely, sorry, not this deck, this set would definitely be a good way if you're new to the game starting out. Because, like I said, you get a lot of good old cards, get a lot of good new cards. So it's definitely a good investment if you're new to the game. If you've been in the game, it could be disappointing, but there's still a lot of good potential there, though. I feel like you said.
I think there's an opportunity for them to take these 57 reprints and make them relevant reprints to the cards that are coming. You know, keep the 4 reprints that they kept above. You know, the Abuni, the Ribrianne, the Basil, and the Vegeta. Those are like your generic. I mean, all of those cards I would consider to be generic staples for the colors they represent.
Yeah.
But if you look at Defending Father Paragus, that's a good green super combo. Blue is essential for blue. Yellow is amazing in U9 Assemble. We have no idea what the yellow stuff is going to be here.
Yeah.
It could be... we think that it's going to be Goku's Lineage, but there could be more Universe 9 stuff there. And the fact that we're already seeing Basil in Universe 9, if they just included to reprint a couple more of the U9 cards, or if they decided to print older Bardock's crew cards, or the older Vegeta Nappa stuff, so that someone who's new doesn't have to go track those old cards down, it makes the reprints feel more at place in this set.
So with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed today's diagnosis, whatever you want to call this. I'm not really sure what the correct words are today. My brain's frazzled. So, click buttons. Thanks for tuning in. And if you enjoyed this, let us know, because this is our reactions, and, your opinions matter to us as well. So, Fluff, would you lead us out?
Of course. Once again, thanks, guys. Let us know what you're looking forward to. We kind of know a lot of the things that are coming in the Evolution Booster. What are you guys really looking forward to? Seems like Bancroft is really, really, really excited for the red Nappa stuff. I'm excited at the prospect of more Universe 9 stuff. Like, please give me a good yellow lavender to play. Please. Other than that, read your cards, know your plays. Fluff out.